Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our lecture on starting non-for-profit companies in Canada, focusing on their registration, operation, and business development within the Canadian context. Today, we will explore the foundational principles of establishing and managing non-for-profit organizations, NPOs, which play a vital role in addressing societal needs, from community services to environmental advocacy. In Canada, NPOs operate under specific legal frameworks, such as the Canada Not-for-Profit Corporations Act and FP Act, and contribute significantly to social, cultural, and economic well-being. This lecture will cover the definition of NPOs, their distinguishing features, the number of NPOs in Canada, types of activities they undertake, registration processes through government platforms, operational requirements like banking and tax obligations, fundraising strategies, collaboration with other organizations, and pathways to becoming a registered charity. We will also examine real-life applications, best practices, and ethical considerations to ensure NPOs operate with integrity and impact. For example, an NPO like the Canadian Red Cross delivers humanitarian services, while others focus on arts or education. The course objectives include equipping you with the knowledge to establish, manage, and grow NPOs effectively, ensuring compliance with Canadian regulations and fostering sustainable community impact. Ethical considerations, such as transparency in fundraising and governance, are central to maintaining public trust. By mastering these principles, you'll contribute to Canada's vibrant nonprofit sector, addressing societal challenges through ethical, mission-driven organizations. We begin with the lecture outline, providing a roadmap for our exploration. Following our introduction, let's review the lecture outline to guide our exploration of non-for-profit companies in Canada. This lecture is structured to provide a comprehensive understanding, starting with an introduction to non-for-profit organizations, defining their purpose and role in society. We'll explore key concepts, such as the Canada Not-for-Profit Corporations Act, and legal distinctions between NPOs and charities. The registration process will detail step-by-step instructions, including navigating government websites, fees, and required documents like articles of incorporation. Operational strategies will cover governance, banking, and tax requirements, while fundraising and collaboration will address securing funds and partnering with other NPOs. We'll examine the process of evolving into a registered charity, including eligibility and benefits. Real-life applications will highlight NPOs in sectors like healthcare and education, with examples like food banks or literacy programs. Best practices, such as transparent governance, and recommendations, like stakeholder engagement, will ensure sustainable operations. Ethical considerations, like donor trust and regulatory compliance, remain central. A summary will consolidate key takeaways, preparing you to establish and manage NPOs effectively in Canada's nonprofit sector. This outline aligns with course objectives to develop skills for creating compliant, impactful organizations that address societal needs. This slide transitions to the introduction of non-for-profits, where we'll define their scope and significance. Building on our lecture outline, let's introduce non-for-profit organizations in the context of Canada's social and economic landscape. Non-for-profit organizations, NPOs, are entities designed to address societal needs, such as education, health, or environmental protection, without the primary goal of generating profit. Unlike businesses, NPOs reinvest any surplus into their mission, such as a community center offering free youth programs. In Canada, NPOs operate under the Canada Not-for-Profit Corporations Act and FP Act, or provincial equivalents, like Ontario's Not-for-Profit Corporations Act, ensuring legal compliance and public accountability. These organizations support diverse initiatives, from food banks like Daily Bread in Toronto to cultural groups preserving Indigenous heritage. NPOs differ from charities, as not all NPOs are registered charities, though they may pursue similar goals. Ethical considerations include transparency in operations and ensuring community benefit, fostering public trust. This introduction aligns with course objectives to equip you with the knowledge to establish and manage NPOs that drive social impact. By understanding NPOs, you'll create organizations that address Canada's societal challenges, such as poverty or mental health, with integrity and purpose. This slide transitions to defining non-for-profit organizations, where we'll clarify their characteristics and legal scope. Following our introduction, let's define non-for-profit organizations in Canada's context. An NPO is a legal entity established to pursue mission-driven objectives, such as advancing education, health, or community welfare, without distributing profits to owners or members. For example, a Canadian NPO like the YMCA provides fitness and youth programs, reinvesting any surplus into expanding services. Governed by the Canada Not-for-Profit Corporations Act, federally or provincial legislation, NPOs are distinct from for-profit businesses, which prioritize shareholder profit, and from charities, which must meet specific public benefit criteria to issue tax receipts. NPOs can operate as membership-based groups, like sports clubs, or public-serving entities, like environmental advocacy groups. Ethical considerations include ensuring funds are used for stated purposes and maintaining transparent governance to uphold community trust. This definition aligns with course objectives by providing a foundation for understanding NPO structures, enabling you to establish compliant organizations that address societal needs, such as improving access to education or healthcare, with clarity and ethical integrity. This slide transitions to the role of NPOs in Canada, where we'll explore their societal contributions. Following our definition, let's explore the role of non-for-profit organizations in Canada's societal landscape. NPOs enhance community well-being by addressing critical issues, such as poverty, education, or environmental sustainability. For instance, Food Banks Canada supports hunger relief across provinces, while organizations like the David Suzuki Foundation advocate for environmental protection. NPOs fill gaps where government services may be limited, such as providing after-school programs in underserved areas, and collaborate with government and charities to amplify impact, like partnering on public health campaigns. Their role is vital in Canada's diverse society, addressing needs of Indigenous communities, immigrants, or rural populations. Ethical considerations include equitable service delivery and transparent collaboration to ensure community trust. This role aligns with course objectives by highlighting how NPOs drive social change, equipping you to create organizations that tackle Canada's challenges, such as mental health or cultural preservation, with impact and integrity. This slide transitions to the number of NPOs in Canada, where we'll examine their prevalence and scope. Following the role of NPOs, let's examine their prevalence in Canada's nonprofit sector. As of recent estimates, Canada has over 170,000 non-for-profit organizations, including both federally and provincially incorporated entities, as well as unincorporated associations. These organizations operate across diverse sectors, such as healthcare, e.g., hospital foundations, education, e.g., literacy programs, and social services, e.g., shelters for the homeless. According to Statistics Canada, NPOs contribute significantly to the economy, generating billions in revenue and employing hundreds of thousands, while their social impact addresses issues like poverty and cultural preservation. For example, the Canadian Cancer Society supports research and patient care, impacting millions. Ethical considerations include transparent financial reporting and ensuring equitable resource distribution to maintain public trust. This overview aligns with course objectives by illustrating the scale and diversity of NPOs, equipping you to navigate Canada's nonprofit landscape and establish organizations that contribute meaningfully to society with integrity and impact. This slide transitions to types of NPO activities, where we'll explore their operational scope. Following our overview of NPO prevalence, let's explore the types of activities non-for-profit organizations undertake in Canada. NPOs engage in diverse activities, including community services, such as operating food banks like Daily Bread Food Bank in Toronto, advocacy, like environmental campaigns by Greenpeace Canada, and education, such as literacy programs by Frontier College. These activities focus on public benefit, like supporting low-income families, or member benefit, like sports clubs fostering community engagement. For example, an NPO might organize cultural festivals to preserve indigenous heritage or provide mental health workshops. Ethical considerations include ensuring activities align with the mission and benefit intended communities without discrimination. This exploration aligns with course objectives by highlighting the range of NPO activities, equipping you to design organizations with clear, impactful purposes that address Canada's societal needs, such as education or social equity, with ethical integrity and community focus. This slide transitions to community service activities, where we'll delve into specific examples. Following our discussion on NPO activities, let's focus on community service activities in Canada's nonprofit sector. Community service NPOs provide direct support to address immediate societal needs, such as poverty, homelessness, or food insecurity. For example, the Salvation Army operates shelters for homeless individuals in cities like Vancouver, while food programs like Breakfast Club of Canada ensure children receive nutritious meals. These activities target vulnerable populations, including low-income families or refugees, offering services like job training or emergency aid. Ethical considerations include equitable access to services, ensuring cultural sensitivity, and maintaining transparency in resource use to build trust. These efforts align with course objectives by demonstrating how NPOs address pressing community needs, equipping you to design organizations that deliver impactful services, such as supporting marginalized groups, with integrity and compassion in Canada's diverse society. This slide transitions to advocacy activities, where we'll explore NPO's role in policy change. Following community service activities, let's discuss advocacy activities in Canada's nonprofit sector. Advocacy NPOs promote policy or social change by raising awareness and influencing legislation, focusing on issues like environmental protection or human rights. For example, the David Suzuki Foundation advocates for climate action, while Amnesty International Canada campaigns for refugee rights. These organizations engage communities through public campaigns, petitions, or stakeholder consultations, amplifying marginalized voices, such as Indigenous groups advocating for land rights. Ethical considerations include transparent advocacy goals, avoiding partisan bias, and ensuring community consent in campaigns. Advocacy aligns with course objectives by equipping you to create NPOs that drive systemic change, addressing Canada's societal challenges, like environmental sustainability or social justice, with clarity and ethical integrity. This slide transitions to educational activities, where we'll explore NPO's role in learning and development. Following advocacy activities, let's explore educational activities in Canada's nonprofit sector. Educational NPOs deliver programs like workshops, literacy initiatives, or youth camps to foster knowledge and skill development. For example, Frontier College provides literacy tutoring for adults and children in underserved communities, while organizations like Outward Bound Canada offer leadership camps for youth. These activities empower individuals, such as immigrants learning language skills or students gaining STEM expertise, enhancing community capacity. Ethical considerations include ensuring accessible, inclusive programs and respecting diverse learning needs, particularly for marginalized groups. Educational activities align with course objectives by equipping you to design NPOs that promote learning, addressing Canada's educational gaps with impactful, ethical programs that foster societal growth and equity. This slide transitions to products and services, where we'll examine NPO offerings. Following educational activities, let's examine the products and services offered by non-for-profit organizations in Canada. NPOs provide services such as counseling, like mental health support offered by the Canadian Mental Health Association, or training, like job skills programs by YMCA Canada. They also distribute goods, such as food through food banks or clothing via shelters like the Salvation Army. These offerings align with mission-driven goals, ensuring benefits directly support community needs, like poverty alleviation or health improvement. Ethical considerations include equitable distribution, transparency in resource allocation, and ensuring services meet community needs without exploitation. This aligns with course objectives by equipping you to design NPOs that deliver impactful, mission-focused products and services, addressing Canada's societal challenges with integrity and compassion. This slide transitions to legal frameworks for NPOs, where we'll explore regulatory requirements. Following products and services, let's discuss the legal frameworks governing non-for-profit organizations in Canada. Federally, NPOs are regulated by the Canada Not-for-Profit Corporations Act, NFP Act, which outlines incorporation, governance, and reporting requirements. Provincially, regulations like Ontario's Not-for-Profit Corporations Act apply for organizations operating within specific provinces. For example, an NPO like the Toronto Humane Society must comply with provincial animal welfare laws alongside federal government's rules. Compliance ensures transparency, financial accountability, and ethical operations, such as maintaining accurate records for public inspection. Ethical considerations include adhering to legal standards, protecting stakeholder rights, and ensuring transparent governance to maintain trust. These frameworks align with course objectives by equipping you to establish compliant NPOs, ensuring legal and ethical integrity while addressing societal needs like community welfare or environmental protection in Canada. This slide transitions to the Canada Not-for-Profit Corporations Act, where we'll explore its specifics. Following legal frameworks, let's explore the Canada Not-for-Profit Corporations Act, NFP Act, in detail. Enacted in 2011, the NFP Act governs federally incorporated non-for-profit organizations, providing the modern framework for incorporation, governance, and dissolution. It requires NPOs, like the Canadian Red Cross, to file articles of incorporation, maintain a board of directors, and submit annual financial statements. The Act defines governance rules, such as member voting rights, and ensures public accountability through transparent reporting, accessible via Corporations Canada. Ethical considerations include complying with financial disclosure rules and protecting member interests to maintain trust. The NFP Act aligns with course objectives by providing a legal foundation for establishing compliant NPOs, enabling you to create organizations that address Canada's societal needs, such as health or education, with legal and ethical integrity. This slide transitions to provincial regulations, where we'll examine regional requirements. Following the Canada Not-for-Profit Corporations Act, let's discuss provincial regulations for non-for-profit organizations in Canada. Each province has its own legislation, such as Ontario's Not-for-Profit Corporations Act, 2010, or British Columbia's Societies Act, which govern NPOs incorporated provincially. For example, a community arts group in Alberta must file bylaws and annual reports with the province's registry. These regulations require clear governance structures, like electing directors, and financial transparency to ensure accountability to local communities. Ethical considerations include adhering to provincial standards, ensuring equitable member representation, and maintaining transparent operations. Provincial regulations align with course objectives by equipping you to navigate regional requirements, enabling you to establish NPOs that comply with local laws while addressing community needs, such as cultural preservation or social services, with integrity and impact. This slide transitions to the registration process overview, where we'll outline steps for incorporation. Following provincial regulations, let's provide an overview of the registration process for non-for-profit organizations in Canada. NPOs can incorporate federally under the Canada Not-for-Profit Corporations Act or provincially under relevant legislation, depending on their operational scope. For example, A national organization like Scouts Canada incorporates federally, while a local food bank might choose provincial incorporation. The process involves submitting articles of incorporation, detailing the organization's name, purpose, and structure, and complying with legal requirements, such as appointing directors, and financial requirements, like setting up a bank account. Ethical considerations include transparent documentation and ensuring the mission aligns with community needs. This overview aligns with course objectives by equipping you to navigate the registration process, enabling you to establish compliant NPOs that address societal challenges, such as poverty or education, with clarity and ethical integrity. This slide transitions to choosing federal or provincial incorporation, where we'll explore decision factors. Following the registration overview, let's discuss choosing between federal and provincial incorporation for non-for-profit organizations in Canada. Federal incorporation, under the Canada Not-for-Profit Corporations Act, suits NPOs with national operations, like the Canadian Cancer Society, allowing activities across provinces with a single registration. Provincial incorporation, such as under Ontario's Not-for-Profit Corporations Act, is ideal for local or regional organizations, like a community centre in Halifax, due to simpler compliance for smaller scopes. Decision factors include operational scale, budget, and legal requirements, such as federal reporting demands versus provincial flexibility. Ethical considerations include ensuring the chosen structure aligns with the mission and serves stakeholders transparently. This decision aligns with course objectives by equipping you to select the appropriate incorporation path, ensuring your NPO operates legally and effectively to address Canada's societal needs with integrity. This slide transitions to the government website for registration, where we'll detail the starting point. Following incorporation choices, let's explore the government website for registering non-for-profit organizations in Canada. For federal incorporation, visit Corporations Canada's website, canada.ca, which provides forms like Form 4001, articles of incorporation and detailed guidelines for NPOs. For provincial incorporation, use registries like Ontario's Service Ontario or British Columbia's Corporate Registry, offering similar forms and instructions tailored to provincial laws. These platforms provide step-by-step guidance, fee schedules, and compliance requirements, ensuring accessibility for new NPOs. For example, a youth sports club might use Service Ontario to file incorporation documents. Ethical considerations include ensuring accurate submissions and transparency in mission statements to build public trust. This aligns with course objectives by equipping you to navigate official platforms, enabling you to register NPOs efficiently and compliantly, addressing societal needs like community engagement with integrity. This slide transitions to step-by-step registration, where we'll outline the process. Following the government website, let's outline the step-by-step registration process for non-for-profit organizations in Canada. First, choose a unique name and confirm its availability through Corporations Canada's new and search for federal incorporation or provincial registries like Service Ontario. Next, file articles of incorporation, specifying the NPO's purpose, structure, and membership rules, using forms like Form 4001 for federal registration. Finally, submit required fees, e.g., $250 for federal incorporation and documents, such as bylaws or director details. For example, a community arts NPO might file these to operate in Quebec. Ethical considerations include ensuring the name and purpose reflect the mission transparently and avoiding misleading claims. This process aligns with course objectives by providing a clear roadmap for registering NPOs, enabling you to establish compliant organizations that address Canada's societal needs with integrity and efficiency. This slide transitions to name selection and approval, where we'll detail the first step. Following the registration process, let's discuss name selection and approval for non-for-profit organizations in Canada. Selecting a unique, descriptive name, like Canada Youth Empowerment Network, ensures clarity and avoids confusion with existing entities. For federal incorporation, use the newly upgraded automated name search system via Corporations Canada to confirm name availability, ensuring no conflicts with registered businesses or trademarks. Provincially, registries like Service Ontario offer similar searches. The name should align with the NPO's mission, such as community service or advocacy, to reflect its purpose transparently. Ethical considerations include avoiding misleading names and ensuring cultural sensitivity, especially for Indigenous-focused NPOs. The step aligns with course objectives by equipping you to choose compliant, meaningful names, enabling you to establish NPOs that resonate with Canada's communities while maintaining integrity and clarity. This slide transitions to Articles of Incorporation, where we'll explore key documentation. Following name selection, let's explore Articles of Incorporation for non-for-profit organizations in Canada. Articles of Incorporation are legal documents defining the NPO's purpose, e.g., promoting literacy, structure, e.g., membership-based or non-membership, and classes of members, if applicable. They include details like the minimum and maximum number of directors and registered office address. For example, an NPO like Habitat for Humanity Canada files articles specifying housing support as its purpose. Filed with Corporations Canada for federal incorporation or provincial registries like Service Ontario, these documents ensure legal recognition. Ethical considerations include transparent, accurate purpose statements and inclusive membership structures to reflect community needs. This aligns with course objectives by equipping you to prepare essential documents, enabling you to establish compliant NPOs that address Canada's societal challenges with clarity and ethical integrity. This slide transitions to registration fees, where we'll discuss costs involved. Following Articles of Incorporation, let's discuss registration fees for non-for-profit organizations in Canada. For federal incorporation under the Canada Not-for-Profit Corporations Act, the filing fee for Articles of Incorporation is approximately $250, payable to Corporations Canada. Provincial fees vary. For example, Ontario charges about $155 for incorporation under its Not-for-Profit Corporations Act, while British Columbia's fee is around $100. Additional costs may include nuance name searches, approximately $20–$60, or legal consultations for complex structures. For instance, a small NPO like a local sports club must budget for these fees. Ethical considerations include transparent financial planning and ensuring funds are allocated to mission-driven activities. This aligns with course objectives by equipping you to budget effectively for registration, enabling you to establish compliant NPOs that address Canada's societal needs with fiscal responsibility and integrity. This slide transitions to required documents, where we'll explore additional paperwork. Following registration fees, let's explore the required documents for registering non-for-profit organizations in Canada. Key documents include Articles of Incorporation, detailing the NPO's purpose and structure, and bylaws, outlining governance rules like meeting procedures or member rights. The initial registered office address, such as a community center's location, and a list of first directors, including their names and addresses, are also required. For example, a mental health NPO might submit these to Corporations Canada for federal incorporation. Ethical considerations include ensuring accurate, transparent documentation and protecting director privacy while meeting public disclosure requirements. These documents align with course objectives by equipping you to prepare compliant paperwork, enabling you to establish NPOs that address societal needs, like health or education, with legal and ethical integrity. This slide transitions to bylaws preparation, where we'll discuss governance rules. Following required documents, let's discuss bylaws preparation for non-for-profit organizations in Canada. Bylaws are internal rules governing an NPO's operations, outlining membership structures, e.g., voting or non-voting members, meeting procedures, e.g., annual general meetings, and voting processes, e.g., quorum requirements. For example, A community arts NPO might specify board election rules in its bylaws. These must comply with the Canada Not-for-Profit Corporations Act for federal NPOs or provincial equivalents, ensuring legal and operational clarity. Ethical considerations include transparent governance, equitable member representation, and avoiding discriminatory rules. Bylaws preparation aligns with course objectives by equipping you to create robust governance structures, enabling you to manage NPOs effectively while addressing Canada's societal needs with integrity and accountability. This slide transitions to director requirements, where we'll explore board responsibilities. Following bylaws preparation, let's explore director requirements for non-for-profit organizations in Canada. The Canada Not-for-Profit Corporations Act requires a minimum of 3 directors for federally incorporated NPOs, who must be individuals, not corporations, and at least 19 years old. For example, a health-focused NPO might appoint directors with expertise in medicine or community outreach. Directors oversee governance, ensuring the NPO's mission, like supporting youth education, is fulfilled. Ethical considerations include selecting diverse, qualified directors to represent community interests and avoiding conflicts of interest. Provincial regulations may have similar requirements, like Ontario's rule for non-director officers. This aligns with course objectives by equipping you to build effective boards, enabling you to manage NPOs that address Canada's societal needs with ethical governance and impact. This slide transitions to company charter, where we'll discuss mission documentation. Following director requirements, let's discuss the company charter for non-for-profit organizations in Canada. The charter, often part of the Articles of Incorporation, defines the NPO's mission and objectives, such as promoting environmental sustainability or community health. For example, an NPO like the Canadian Wildlife Federation might outline wildlife conservation as its mission. The charter must align with the Canada Not-for-Profit Corporations Act or provincial laws, ensuring legal compliance and clarity. It guides operational activities, like program development, and informs stakeholders of the NPO's purpose. Ethical considerations include ensuring the charter reflects community needs and avoids misleading objectives. This aligns with course objectives by equipping you to craft clear, compliant charters, enabling you to establish NPOs that address Canada's societal challenges with purpose and integrity. This slide transitions to banking requirements, where we'll explore financial setup. Following the company charter, let's discuss banking requirements for non-for-profit organizations in Canada. NPOs must open a dedicated bank account to manage funds, such as donations or grants, separate from personal accounts. For example, a food bank like Moisson Montreal would use a business account at a bank like RBC. Most banks require multiple signatories, typically directors, to authorize transactions, ensuring accountability. Transparent financial management involves regular audits and clear record-keeping, complying with the Canada Not-for-Profit Corporations Act or provincial regulations. Ethical considerations include avoiding misuse of funds and ensuring transparency to maintain donor trust. These requirements align with course objectives by equipping you to establish robust financial systems, enabling you to manage NPOs that address societal needs, like poverty alleviation, with fiscal responsibility and integrity. This slide transitions to tax requirements, where we'll explore fiscal obligations. Following banking requirements, let's explore tax requirements for non-for-profit organizations in Canada. NPOs must register with the Canada Revenue Agency (CRA) to obtain a business number for tax purposes, even if tax-exempt. They must file an annual T1044 non-profit organization information return, reporting income and activities, as required by the Income Tax Act. For example, a community center in Calgary would submit this to confirm tax-exempt status. NPOs must also comply with GST/HST regulations, registering if providing taxable services, like event tickets. Ethical considerations include accurate reporting, avoiding tax evasion, and ensuring transparency to maintain public trust. These requirements align with course objectives by equipping you to manage compliant NPOs, ensuring fiscal responsibility while addressing Canada's societal needs with integrity. This slide transitions to fundraising strategies, where we'll explore revenue generation. Following tax requirements, let's discuss fundraising strategies for non-for-profit organizations in Canada. Fundraising includes hosting events, like charity runs organized by the Terry Fox Foundation, or seeking individual donations through campaigns. NPOs can apply for government grants, such as Canada Council for the Arts funding, or private foundation grants, like those from the RBC Foundation. Engaging community supporters, through crowdfunding or volunteer-driven campaigns, builds loyalty in funds, as seen with food banks like Daily Bread. Ethical considerations include transparent donation use, avoiding coercive tactics, and ensuring donor privacy. These strategies align with course objectives by equipping you to secure sustainable funding, enabling NPOs to address societal needs, like health or education, with impact and ethical integrity. This slide transitions to event-based fundraising, where we'll explore specific methods. Following fundraising strategies, let's explore event-based fundraising for non-for-profit organizations in Canada. Events like charity runs, such as the Terry Fox Run, or galas, like those hosted by hospital foundations, generate funds while raising awareness. These events promote community participation, engaging volunteers and donors, as seen with community walks for cancer research. Cost-effective planning involves budgeting for expenses like venues while maximizing revenue through ticket sales or sponsorships. Ethical considerations include transparent financial reporting, ensuring funds support the mission, and avoiding excessive event costs. This aligns with course objectives by equipping you to design impactful fundraising events, enabling NPOs to address Canada's societal needs, like healthcare or poverty, with community engagement and ethical integrity. This slide transitions to grant applications, where we'll discuss securing external funds. Following event-based fundraising, let's discuss grant applications for non-for-profit organizations in Canada. NPOs can apply for government grants, like those from Health Canada for wellness programs, or foundation grants, such as the McConnell Foundation's Social Innovation Funds. Writing clear, compelling proposals involves outlining the NPO's mission, project goals, and budget, as seen with arts groups applying to the Canada Council. Aligning with funder priorities, like environmental sustainability or youth empowerment, increases success rates. Ethical considerations include honest reporting, avoiding exaggerated claims, and ensuring funds are used as proposed. Grant applications align with course objectives by equipping you to secure sustainable funding, enabling NPOs to address Canada's societal challenges with strategic planning and ethical integrity. This slide transitions to crowdfunding, where we'll explore online fundraising. Following grant applications, let's explore crowdfunding for non-for-profit organizations in Canada. Crowdfunding platforms like GoFundMe or Kickstarter allow NPOs to raise funds online, as seen with community projects like local park restorations. Engaging online communities through social media campaigns, like those on X, builds donor support and awareness. For example, a youth mentorship NPO might crowdfund to expand programs. Ensuring transparent fund use involves clear communication about how donations are spent, maintaining donor trust. Ethical considerations include avoiding misleading campaigns and protecting donor privacy. Crowdfunding aligns with course objectives by equipping you to leverage digital tools for fundraising, enabling NPOs to address societal needs, like community development, with transparency and impact. This slide transitions to collaborating with other NPOs, where we'll explore partnerships. Following crowdfunding, let's discuss collaborating with other non-for-profit organizations in Canada. Partnerships allow NPOs to pursue shared goals, such as a food bank collaborating with a shelter to address homelessness and hunger, as seen with partnerships between Daily Bread and local shelters in Toronto. Pooling resources, like shared facilities, or expertise, like joint training programs, enhances efficiency. For example, environmental NPOs might collaborate on climate campaigns. Ethical considerations include transparent agreements, equitable resource sharing, and respecting partner missions. Collaboration aligns with course objectives by equipping you to build strategic partnerships, enabling NPOs to amplify their impact on Canada's societal challenges, like poverty or sustainability, with integrity and cooperation. This slide transitions to working with government, where we'll explore public sector partnerships. Following NPO collaborations, let's explore working with government for non-for-profit organizations in Canada. NPOs can secure government contracts or grants, such as Health Canada funding for mental health programs, to support operations. Aligning with public policy goals, like reducing homelessness or improving education, increases funding success, as seen with NPOs partnering on government anti-poverty initiatives. Compliance with regulations, like reporting requirements, ensures accountability. Ethical considerations include transparent use of public funds and avoiding political bias. This aligns with course objectives by equipping you to navigate government partnerships, enabling NPOs to address societal needs, like public health or education, with strategic alignment and ethical integrity. This slide transitions to corporate partnerships, where we'll discuss private sector collaboration. Following government partnerships, let's discuss corporate partnerships for non-for-profit organizations in Canada. NPOs engage businesses for sponsorships, like RBC sponsoring community events for NPOs like United Way. Aligning with corporate social responsibility goals, such as sustainability or diversity, strengthens partnerships, as seen with environmental NPOs partnering with eco-conscious firms. Mission-driven collaborations ensure corporate support aligns with the NPO's purpose, avoiding conflicts of interest. Ethical considerations include transparent agreements and ensuring corporate funds don't influence mission integrity. This aligns with course objectives by equipping you to secure corporate support, enabling NPOs to address Canada's societal needs with strategic partnerships and ethical clarity. This slide transitions to evolving to charity status, where we'll explore the transition process. Following corporate partnerships, let's discuss evolving to charity status for non-for-profit organizations in Canada. To become a registered charity, NPOs must meet Canada Revenue Agency (CRA) criteria, such as operating exclusively for charitable purposes like poverty relief or education, as defined by the Income Tax Act. For example, a community service NPO might apply to issue tax receipts for donations. The application involves submitting Form T-2050 to the CRA, detailing activities and finances. Gaining charity status allows tax exemptions and donor incentives. Ethical considerations include ensuring charitable activities benefit the public and maintaining transparency. This aligns with course objectives by equipping you to transition NPOs to charities, enhancing their impact on Canada's societal needs with legal and ethical integrity. This slide transitions to CRA charity criteria, where we'll detail eligibility requirements. Following the evolution to charity status, let's explore the Canada Revenue Agency's charity criteria for non-for-profit organizations in Canada. The CRA requires charities to operate for recognized charitable purposes, such as relieving poverty, advancing education, or promoting health, as seen with organizations like the Canadian Red Cross. Activities must benefit the public, not private individuals, ensuring broad community impact. Detailed financial records, including annual T3010 returns, are mandatory to maintain transparency. Ethical considerations include adhering to public benefit rules and avoiding private gain to uphold trust. These criteria align with course objectives by equipping you to meet CRA standards, enabling NPOs to achieve charity status and address Canada's societal needs with accountability and impact. This slide transitions to applying for charity status, where we'll outline the process. Following CRA charity criteria, let's discuss applying for charity status for non-for-profit organizations in Canada. The process involves submitting Form T2050 to the Canada Revenue Agency, detailing the NPO's purpose, governance, and financial structure. For example, a literacy NPO like Frontier College would provide program details to demonstrate educational benefits. Applicants must show activities align with charitable purposes, like poverty relief, and submit supporting documents, such as bylaws. Ethical considerations include accurate reporting, avoiding misleading claims, and ensuring public benefit. This process aligns with course objectives by equipping you to navigate CRA applications, enabling NPOs to gain charity status and enhance their impact on Canada's societal needs with transparency and integrity. This slide transitions to benefits of charity status, where we'll explore advantages. Following the application process, let's explore the benefits of charity status for non-for-profit organizations in Canada. Registered charities can issue tax receipts, incentivizing donations, as seen with organizations like the Heart and Stroke Foundation. This status opens access to additional funding, such as government grants exclusive to charities, and enhances donor trust through CRA oversight, increasing credibility. For example, a charity's tax-exempt status attracts corporate sponsors. Ethical considerations include using tax receipts responsibly and maintaining transparent financial reporting. These benefits align with course objectives by equipping you to leverage charity status, enabling NPOs to expand their impact on Canada's societal needs, like health or education, with credibility and ethical integrity. This slide transitions to real-life applications, where we'll explore practical examples. Following charity status benefits, let's examine real-life applications of non-for-profit organizations in Canada. NPOs support sectors like health, through organizations like the Canadian Cancer Society funding research, education, via literacy programs like Frontier College, and social services, such as shelters run by the Salvation Army. These address societal challenges, like poverty, homelessness, or mental health, impacting millions. For example, food banks like Daily Bread serve thousands weekly. Ethical considerations include equitable service delivery and transparent resource use to maintain community trust. These applications align with course objectives by demonstrating how NPOs drive social change, equipping you to create organizations that address Canada's needs with impact and ethical integrity. This slide transitions to health-focused NPOs, where we'll explore specific examples. Following real-life applications, let's explore health-focused non-for-profit organizations in Canada. These NPOs fund research, like the Canadian Cancer Society supporting oncology studies, or provide patient support, such as the Heart and Stroke Foundation offering rehabilitation programs. They promote public health initiatives, like mental health campaigns by the Canadian Mental Health Association. These efforts address critical health challenges, improving outcomes for Canadians. Ethical considerations include transparent funding allocation and ensuring equitable access to services. Health-focused NPOs align with course objectives by equipping you to create organizations that enhance Canada's healthcare system with impactful, ethical programs. This slide transitions to education-focused NPOs, where we'll examine learning initiatives. Following health-focused NPOs, let's discuss education-focused non-for-profit organizations in Canada. These NPOs offer programs like literacy tutoring by Frontier College or STEM workshops by OCJUA, fostering skill development for youth and adults. They promote equitable education access, targeting underserved groups like Indigenous or low-income communities. For example, Let's Talk Science engages students in science education. Ethical considerations include inclusive program design and transparent resource use. These NPOs align with course objectives by equipping you to create organizations that address Canada's educational gaps with impactful, ethical initiatives that enhance societal growth. This slide transitions to social service NPOs, where we'll explore community support. Following education-focused NPOs, let's explore social service non-for-profit organizations in Canada. These NPOs provide shelters, like the Salvation Army's facilities for the homeless, food through programs like Food Banks Canada, and job training, such as YMCA employment programs. They address societal challenges like poverty and homelessness, supporting vulnerable populations. Ethical considerations include equitable service delivery and maintaining donor trust through transparency. Social service NPOs align with course objectives by equipping you to create organizations that tackle Canada's social issues with compassionate, ethical programs that enhance community well-being. This slide transitions to example NPOs, where we'll highlight specific cases. Following social service NPOs, let's explore an example. The Canadian Red Cross. This NPO provides disaster relief, like aid during wildfires, and health services, such as blood donation programs. It raises funds through donations, government grants, and corporate partnerships, generating millions annually to support its mission. The Red Cross impacts millions, delivering emergency aid and community programs. Ethical considerations include transparent fund use and equitable service delivery. This example aligns with course objectives by demonstrating how NPOs operate effectively, equipping you to create impactful organizations addressing Canada's societal needs with integrity. This slide transitions to example. Daily Bread Food Bank, where we'll examine another case. Following the Canadian Red Cross, let's explore another example. Daily Bread Food Bank in Toronto. This NPO distributes food to communities, supporting thousands weekly through food drives and community kitchens. It raises funds through individual donations, charity events, and grants, ensuring operational sustainability. Daily Bread addresses food insecurity, a critical issue in Canada. Ethical considerations include equitable food distribution and transparent financial reporting. This example aligns with course objectives by illustrating effective NPO operations, equipping you to create organizations that address societal needs like hunger with impact and ethical integrity. This slide transitions to example charities, where we'll discuss registered charities. Following Daily Bread, let's explore examples of registered charities in Canada. The Heart and Stroke Foundation, a registered charity, funds cardiovascular research and patient support, issuing tax receipts to donors and accessing government grants. Other examples include the United Way, focusing on community development. These charities prioritize public benefit, like health or poverty relief. Ethical considerations include transparent reporting and ensuring funds serve charitable purposes. This aligns with course objectives by equipping you to understand charity operations, enabling you to create impactful organizations with credibility and ethical integrity. This slide transitions to best practices in NPO management, where we'll explore operational strategies. Following example charities, let's discuss best practices in managing non-for-profit organizations in Canada. Transparent governance involves clear bylaws, regular audits, and open financial reporting, as seen with organizations like the Canadian Red Cross. Engaging diverse stakeholders, such as community members or donors, ensures inclusive decision-making. Aligning operations with the mission, like focusing programs on poverty relief, maximizes impact. Ethical considerations include avoiding conflicts of interest and ensuring equitable representation. These practices align with course objectives by equipping you to manage NPOs effectively, addressing Canada's societal needs with integrity and impact. This slide transitions to best practices in fundraising, where we'll explore funding strategies. Following NPO management, let's explore best practices in fundraising for non-for-profit organizations in Canada. Diversifying funding sources, like combining grants, events, and donations, ensures financial stability, as seen with the United Way. Communicating impact, through annual reports or donor updates, builds trust, showing how funds address issues like homelessness. Ethical fundraising involves transparency, avoiding coercive tactics, and respecting donor privacy. These practices align with course objectives by equipping you to secure sustainable funding, enabling NPOs to address Canada's societal needs with ethical integrity and impact. This slide transitions to recommendations for NPO development, where we'll explore growth strategies. Following fundraising practices, let's provide recommendations for non-for-profit organization development in Canada. Building strategic partnerships, like collaborating with government or corporations, enhances resources, as seen with United Way's corporate sponsors. Leveraging digital tools, like social media or crowdfunding, expands reach, as with community project campaigns. Focusing on sustainable growth involves long-term planning, like diversifying revenue or scaling programs. Ethical considerations include aligning partnerships with the mission and ensuring transparency. These recommendations align with course objectives by equipping you to grow NPOs sustainably, addressing Canada's societal needs with strategic and ethical impact. This slide transitions to recommendations for charity transition, where we'll explore charity growth. Following NPO development, let's provide recommendations for transitioning to charity status in Canada. Aligning with CRA charitable purposes, like education or health, ensures eligibility, as seen with organizations like Frontier College. Engaging legal and financial experts helps navigate Form T 2050 and compliance requirements. Planning for increased accountability involves preparing for T 3010 filings and public scrutiny. Ethical considerations include transparent reporting and prioritizing public benefit. These recommendations align with course objectives by equipping you to transition NPOs to charities, enhancing their impact on Canada's societal needs with accountability and integrity. This slide transitions to ethical considerations, where we'll explore responsible practices. Following charity transition recommendations, let's discuss ethical considerations for non-for-profit organizations in Canada. Transparency involves clear financial reporting and mission alignment, as seen with the Canadian Red Cross. Protecting donor and participant rights includes safeguarding privacy and ensuring informed consent. Compliance with Canadian regulations, like the NFP Act or CRA rules, ensures legal integrity. Ethical practices build public trust, critical for NPOs addressing societal needs like poverty or health. These considerations align with course objectives by equipping you to manage NPOs with integrity, ensuring impactful, ethical operations in Canada's nonprofit sector. This slide transitions to evaluating NPO success, where we'll explore assessment methods. Following ethical considerations, let's explore evaluating non-for-profit organization success in Canada. Measuring community impact involves assessing outcomes, like the number of people served by a food bank. Financial sustainability requires evaluating revenue stability and expense management. Stakeholder feedback, from donors or community members, refines operations, as seen with program evaluations by United Way. Ethical considerations include transparent reporting of outcomes and avoiding exaggerated claims. This aligns with course objectives by equipping you to assess NPO impact, ensuring they address Canada's societal needs with accountability and effectiveness. This slide transitions to summary, where we'll consolidate key points. As we conclude our lecture on non-for-profit companies in Canada, let's summarize key points. NPOs are mission-driven entities addressing societal needs like health, education, or poverty, governed by the Canada Not-for-Profit Corporations Act or provincial laws. Registration involves filing articles of incorporation, bylaws, and fees via government platforms. Operations require transparent governance, banking, and tax compliance. Fundraising strategies, like events or grants, and partnerships with government or corporations, ensure sustainability. Evolving to charity status enhances funding through tax receipts. Examples like the Canadian Red Cross and Daily Bread Food Bank illustrate impact. Best practices and ethical considerations, like transparency and accountability, build trust. These align with course objectives to equip you with skills to establish and manage NPOs that drive evidence-based solutions in Canada's nonprofit sector with integrity and impact. Thank you for your engagement. Following our summary, This slide provides references for non-for-profit companies in Canada. The Canada Not-for-Profit Corporations Act, 2011 outlines legal requirements for NPO incorporation and governance. Imagine Canada's Sector Impact Report, 2023 provides data on the nonprofit sector's economic and social contributions. The Tree Council Policy Statement, 2022 offers ethical guidelines relevant to NPO research activities. Course notes by Piivand Pirouzi, Ph.D. complement these sources, offering practical insights for establishing and managing NPOs. These references provide a foundation for creating compliant, impactful organizations that address Canada's societal challenges with integrity and precision.